Tonight on News 22.
Migrants continue to cross the U.S.-Mexico border.
Marijuana use may impact how patients are treated at hospitals.
And find out which company issued a voluntary recall on its cookies.
All that and more on News 22 Tuesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gabriel Chavez.
And I'm Stephanie Mendez. Central American migrants continue to the U.S.-Mexico border. Just yesterday, Border Patrol detained 230 people at Mount Cristo Rey near Sunland Park.
And reports indicate there are about 2,000 more headed this way. As News 22's Fiona St. Pierre tells us, Las Cruces is stepping up to help.
Central American migrants leaving Mershite Recreation Center after a brief overnight stay. These people are headed to other shelters in the county. Earlier, a group boarded Greyhound buses for the El Paso airport. Transit Director David Armillo says his company has transported 300 people Sunday through Monday.
Many of them are bilingual and they're thanking us both in English and Spanish. They're very worn out, and maybe a little undernourished too, and maybe even a little frightened. So most of them are very quiet, but the kids are the kids and they're still playing and having some fun and laughing a little bit, so that's good.
Over at the Casa del Peregrino shelter, Rachel Larkin was one of the many dropping off supplies to help.
I can't even imagine putting myself in that place, so I just really wanted to provide comfort where I could.
Inside, volunteers sorted clothing for small children and food that others had brought by. While the migration issue is causing heated debate, Director Lorenzo Alba says this is not a political issue.
By all means, this is a humanitarian effort that we're all coordinating together, it's really people serving people. That's what this is really about. It fits right into the mission at Casa de Peregrinos.
And at the El Calvario Methodist Church, volunteers have been flowing in as the flow of migrants is not slowing down.
Some of their people volunteer, so we have Catholics and Protestants and people from the synagogue and people from the mosque, but a lot of atheists would come, so it's a place here for everybody.
El Calvario was early to the game and has continued to help. Reverend Miller says any help is welcome. Fiona St. Pierre, News 22.
The nonprofit groups are overwhelmed trying to help as many people as they can, and now the city of Las Cruces is coming to help them. Monday, the city council approved $75,000 in humanitarian aid.
Let me start again. It's still to be decided exactly how the money will be spent, but right now they can do it for food, water, shelter, medical care, those types of things.
The Las Cruces Sun News reports 35 people spoke during the debate on the resolution. Only 2 opposed it.
So it was a really warm day today.
It was warm, but there was a little bit of wind kind of earlier in the morning. Alyssa is next with the first look at weather.
All right, let's take a look at our current conditions. So for right now, we are seeing sunny skies, beautiful blue, 76 degrees, winds at 8 miles per hour in the southwest direction, humidity at 9%, dew point at 18, and barometer sits at 29.61 inches. Now taking a look at our next slide for our high. Today we saw a high of 80 degrees, average 1 degree above 79, low at 51, and in 1962 we saw a high of 85 degrees, and back in 1972 we saw a record low of 43 degrees. We did not see any precipitation today, so our yearly rainfall sits at 63 hundredths of an inch. That's all I have for right now. Back to the desk for more news.
You've heard about endangered species, but what about endangered rivers? New Mexico's last free-flowing river is in grave danger due to climate change. New Mexico's Gila River is #1 in the America's Rivers annual list of America's top 10 most endangered rivers. According to American Rivers, 2 major factors put rivers on the list: the significance of the river to human and natural communities and the magnitude of threat to the river. American Rivers has been compiling an annual list of the nation's most endangered rivers since 1984. New Mexico has now become the national leader in pecan production. New Mexico took the title from Georgia, who was once the country's largest producer of the nut. After Hurricane Michael made landfall last year, it wiped out large swaths of pecan crop in Georgia, causing the state to lose $100 million in pecan crops. New Mexico produced about 90 million pounds of pecans in 2018 and reported a growth of 50 million pounds in the last decade. Texas is ranked 3rd in production and Arizona is 4th.
Cheerleading in New Mexico has just gotten a lot more intense. The New Mexico Activities Association is considering canceling next year's state spirit competition. Death threats and inflammatory social media posts are the cause of the possible cancellation. It is unsure whether the two people who received death threats will press charges. The state competition would feature 106 dance and cheer squads and approximately 2,000 athletes.
Middle school can be a difficult time for students. One student in Las Cruces was bullied after she came out as gay. It was so bad she started suffering from seizures.
Alyssa Tellez tells the story of one resilient middle schooler here in Las Cruces.
Savannah Tira is a 6th grader at Zia Middle School. She transferred to Zia after continuous bullying at Picacho Middle School. But even at Zia, she was jumped after school on February 8th, and it was all caught on video.
Savannah was walking to the bus that takes her to the Boys and Girls Club when she found herself in this terrible situation. But she never fights back.
There was no reason, because that student had come out too. I did not think that the world in 2019 was as criticized towards gay rights.
Savannah's mom, Chelsea, says she was furious.
Thank God Zia's closed, because I would have been there in a heartbeat.
The attack was on a weekday, but the video surfaced on Snapchat over the weekend.
She got on long-term suspension.
The incident didn't stop Savannah from being a kid. She plays basketball and goes to Boys and Girls Club.
I was just like a normal kid. She just loves to be with family. She's smart, adventurous, and she'll talk to anybody.
Chelsea says since coming out, Savannah is more herself.
She's a little bit more understanding of the world around her.
She's proud of how Savannah handled the situation and happy with the community support.
When things like this happen, unfortunate events happen like this, it's always great that you have all these people that have known you for years, and then now their children support her.
Chelsea says she even advocates for the little girl who attacked her daughter.
So it's an insecurity, it's something that they don't get redirection from at home.
Savannah also has advice for anyone going through something similar.
Just be yourself.
Stay tuned, Alyssa will be back with your national forecast.
But first, find out how marijuana may affect doctors and how they operate on patients. More on that when News 22 continues.
Hi, I'm Nora Michaud, Program Manager for KRWG. As part of National Poetry Month this April, KRWG has a poetic special in store for you. A Place to Stand tells the amazing story of how Jimmy Santiago Baca became a celebrated poet, novelist, and screenwriter. This special takes viewers into Jimmy's past and present to uncover how the power of the written word lifted him from the violence and pain that had defined his early life. Tune in Sunday, April 28th at 5 p.m. for A Place to Stand.
Nature presents American Spring Live, a real-time adventure into the season that kicks off an exciting new year in the natural world. We'll join scientists as they make discoveries about how longer days and warming temperatures trigger big changes in animals and plants. From Yosemite to the Everglades, spring is coming to you, live on PBS.
I won't let you down.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday,
where news matters.
There's a dark mood in the City of Light tonight as people try to come to terms with the fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral.
President Emmanuel Macron says France will rebuild. Jim Bitterman has more from Paris.
The city of Paris at a standstill. As one of its most iconic landmarks, the Cathedral of Notre Dame engulfed in flames. Parisians and visitors standing in shock as sections of the cathedral built more than 800 years ago collapsed in front of them.
Everybody's crying. It's very sad because Notre Dame de Paris is the symbol of Paris and the symbol of France. It's the symbol of freedom, the symbol of fraternity.
James Janega and his family visiting the landmark shortly before closing.
We'd gone a couple of blocks across, turned around and looked back and gasped and saw the spire engulfed in flames.
The spire of the cathedral, also known as Our Lady's Arrow, destroyed by the flames within hours. Built in the 12th century and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the site of the Catholic Cathedral ablaze, drawing attention and reaction from around the world. From the French President, Emmanuel Macron, tweeting in part, "Like all our countrymen, I'm sad tonight to see this part of us burn." To President Trump, who talked about his visit to Notre Dame.
It's one of the great treasures of the world. It might be greater than almost any museum in the world, and it's burning very badly. It looks like it's burning to the ground.
400 firefighters mobilized to fight the fire, taking extraordinary risks to get close to the flames. The cause of the fire is still unknown at this time, as the City of Light watches its beloved cathedral burn. Jim Bitterman, CNN, Paris.
Las Cruces police are charging 5 juveniles with burglary. The boys, whose ages are between 12 and 16, stole more than $6,000 worth of merchandise from a shoe store. An employee of the store found out about the burglary through a security camera app on his phone. The items stolen included shoes, clothing, and skateboards. The children were all given Class 3 citations and were booked into the juvenile section of the Doña Ana County Detention Center. A Los Alamos woman is suing Christus St. Vincent Regional Medical Center in Santa Fe for operating on the wrong knee. Karina Gonzalez claims she went in for arthroscopic surgery on her left knee in 2016 and was in recovery when she discovered the surgery was performed on the other knee. She was taken back to surgery to correct it. The lawsuit alleges negligence and medical malpractice, seeking an unspecified amount of damages. Hospital spokesperson Arturo Delgado on Friday declined to comment on the pending litigation.
Be careful of what cookies you're eating. Mondelez International, the maker of Chips Ahoy, announced a recall of certain 13-ounce packages of chewy Chips Ahoy. The company said there is an unexpected solidified ingredient that has led to reports of potential adverse health effects. Customers who have the products should not eat it. The company recommends calling 1-844-366-1171 or go to mondelezinternational.com for more details about the recall. So it seems like parts of the country are still dealing with storms.
I heard that as well. Alyssa Tejas is up next with your national forecast.
All right, let's take a look at our national map. So in Seattle, they're seeing 59 degrees, El Paso at 83 degrees, Jacksonville at a warm 75 degrees, and Cincinnati at 75 degrees. Now let's move on to my next map, where I'm going to talk to you about a storm system. Now a low pressure system is moving across the eastern part of the United States, and that is because of a strong jet stream and warm, humid air coming from the Gulf of Mexico. Now in my next map, I'll talk to you about cities that are going to be affected, including Oklahoma City, Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston. Now they could possibly see tornadoes, hail, and record flash flooding. In my next map, that system is going to move on to the east into Friday. Now they're expecting 3 inches of rain, and that could possibly lead to some flash flooding. That's all I have for right now. Stick around, I'll be back to talk to you about temperatures around our region.
Learn more about citizen science in the Nature Series American Spring Live at our family event Saturday, April 20th from 8 to 1 at the Plaza de las Cruces during the Southern New Mexico Earth Day Festival.
Hi, this is Bert Wolf inviting you to join me for our new season of Travels and Traditions. We'll take a look at the history of deep-sea sports fishing. Visit the city in Italy that made chocolate famous. Find out how you can sell your artwork on the internet. We'll look at the history and the future of drinking water and how China is rebuilding its ancient Silk Road. That's Travels and Traditions with Bert Wolf.
Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
Bridget and Julia are serving up surprises.
Science is delicious.
It's more foolproof recipes, taste tests, equipment reviews, gadgets, and science. Welcome to Season 18 of America's Test Kitchen.
Saturday at 3:30 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at temperatures around New Mexico. In Farmington, they're seeing 70 degrees, Santa Fe at 60, Clovis at 78 degrees, 76 in Las Cruces, and finally in Deming, 74 degrees. Now for tomorrow, they're expecting highs 51 in Santa Fe, Clovis at 78, Roswell at 72, Las Cruces at 68, as well as Deming. And in Alamogordo tonight, they're expecting some thunderstorms at 52 degrees, and tomorrow also some thunderstorms, 64 degrees. In Truth or Consequences, an overnight low of 51 with some partly cloudy skies, and tomorrow some evening thunderstorms at 69 degrees. In Silver City tonight, they're expecting an overnight low of 40 degrees, and tomorrow partly cloudy skies with a high of 57 degrees. And finally, in the city of the Cruces, tonight they're expecting an overnight low of 51 degrees, and tomorrow 70 with evening thunderstorms as well. Stick around, I'll be back to talk to you about your 5-day forecast.
As marijuana use increases among Americans, it is changing how doctors treat patients.
Doctors may need to use more sedatives with users who are having procedures done. James Dinnan has a closer look in today's Health Minute.
Do cannabis users require a different approach to medical care? When it comes to sedation, the answer may be yes. That's according to a new report in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association. When it comes to undergoing medical procedures, the study found patients who regularly use marijuana may need 2 times the level of sedation required by non-users. Researchers focused their study at one community hospital in Colorado. They found that people who reported smoking or using edibles on a daily or weekly basis required more of these 3 most common sedation drugs: 20% more midazolam, 14% more fentanyl, and 220% more propofol. That's what's needed to float into unconsciousness. It was a small study with just 25 cannabis users, so more research needs to be done. But experts say the study highlights the need to ask patients about pot use, saying it can be an effective tool for assessing medical needs and possible risks. And that's especially important with pot use increasing around the world. According to a United Nations report, marijuana use has increased 43% in the United States between 2007 and 2015. For today's Health Minute, I'm James Dinan reporting.
Critics say that researchers should have controlled amounts of sedations, not using just records and comparing amounts of sedations patients have used in the past.
So I heard that an NMSU student has made history.
Sounds exciting for her, and Kristen Mistretta is next with sports.
Thanks, Gabe and Stephanie. Coming up in sports, find out how NMSU baseball and softball did this past weekend. We'll be right back with News 22 Sports.
Growing up, NewsHour with Jim Lehrer and Gwen Eiffel, such class acts, the example of how to do things right. Washington Week has been on the air for over 5 decades. It has values that stretch back to the start of PBS. PBS is about trust. This is a public space. It's a commons for our whole town. It's a place that year after year doesn't let you down.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
Barbarians are at the gate.
I'm not going to run away. My destiny is to rule this country.
We were hoping for the best, planning for the worst.
This is scary, and we are not safe.
He said, these people are going to love me as an entertainer no matter how much they hate me as a black.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station. Sign in and start streaming today.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. It's time to kick it with Kristen. The NMSU baseball team is out of town for a 4-game road trip. This past weekend, the Aggies swept Northern Colorado in a 3-game series. They defeated the Bears 10-9, 5-0, and 19-9. And on Sunday in the final game, Joey Ortiz hit for the cycle. The Aggies' overall record is now 25-9. They are currently facing off in their first game on the road against their I-25 rivals, the UNM Lobos. And we will have the final score of this game tomorrow. The softball team is coming off of a tough weekend on the road. On Friday and Saturday, they played California Baptist in a 4-game series with a doubleheader on both days. Each game was close and the Aggies won 2 out of the 4 games. Yesterday, NMSU took on Loyola Marymount and lost in another close game 2-3. The Aggies' next game is this Friday against Grand Canyon University at the New Mexico State Softball Complex. Kamira Houghton is celebrating her first WAC Weekly honor. It was announced that Houghton was named Western Athletic Conference Women's Outdoor Track Athlete of the Week. This is the first honor for the outdoor season for the women's track team. A New Mexico State student is not only getting a degree in HRTM, but is also the first female boxing ring announcer in New Mexico. I was able to capture her in her element. This isn't Alyssa Adams' first time ring announcing, and she is not afraid of the big stage.
She did her first show at Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino to a sold-out show and did phenomenal. Rave reviews.
Many people have seen Alyssa in the ring, but by day, she is your normal NMSU student.
I look back and I'm like, wow, 6 hours ago I was in law class and now here I am in the ring.
She always wanted to go into the hotel industry, but never thought she'd be making history in the ring.
I never thought of that, and to be the first female is huge. You know, I thought what a great opportunity for me and what a great way to get my name out.
Alyssa Adams is making history once again by announcing her first male fight and following in her father's footsteps.
Introducing out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 168.6 pounds.
I've been ring announcing for 25 years. My very first fight was Irish Shawn McClain. And tonight, my daughter's first ring announcing of a men's fight is going to be his son, Irish Bryant McClain. So when you talk about history, I mean, how cool is this, right? I get in the game a long time ago. I see Irish Bryant McClain walking right by me right now, and now my daughter gets to announce him too.
Alyssa thought she would follow her father in his day job, but never thought she would follow him in the boxing world too.
Here I am following him in his other career of being a professional ring announcer. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year, so it's pretty cool to be following him.
Even though Alyssa is following her father, it has not gone unnoticed that she has her own style up in the ring.
She's got that same charisma that Mike has. I think she does have her own style and her own touch, but without a doubt, it's going to be a matter of time before they're going to say, hey, let's get a different look. Let's pull her in.
She is not sure what the future will hold for her, but she is excited to see where the boxing industry takes her.
Proud of her. She's taken after her father. She has that confidence about her that she's not afraid.
Alyssa is looking forward to her next fight and hopes to one day announce side by side with her dad to an even bigger audience. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Alyssa will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, a breakfast delight has its own special day. More on that when News 22 returns.
It's the journey of a lifetime on the award-winning Born to Explore. Celebrate the people, the places, the planet we all share. Join me, Richard Weiss, for a window to the world.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
I'm Lydia Bastianich. Join me for a brand new season of Lydia's Kitchen right here on public television. Best of all, I'll be bringing you back to Italy with me. Join me and learn how to celebrate Italian style. Tutti a tavola a mangiare.
Monday at 2:30 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
Hi, I'm Susan Brubaker-Knapp, and this season of Quilting Arts sizzles with excitement. We're creating a firework display of color and design that explodes onto the quilting landscape. We're here to blow up the rules and change the way you look at contemporary quilting. Join me and today's favorite quilt artists as we fan the fire of creativity with Quilting Arts.
Wednesday at 2 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
Let's take a look at our top stories. Migrants are continuing to approach the U.S.-Mexico border where 230 people were detained. Sedation levels need to be increased in operations for marijuana users. And the maker of Chips Ahoy issued a recall after finding an unexpected solidified ingredient in some of its 13-ounce packages.
I guess you could call today an excellent day to enjoy your tasty breakfast. Today is National Eggs Benedict Day. The origin of the breakfast is not clear, whether it came from Pope Benedict in the 18th century or Lemuel Benedict in 1894. The delectable dish is composed of a poached egg covered with bacon or ham and creamy hollandaise sauce. It is a perfect dish for a weekend breakfast, brunch, holiday breakfast like Easter, or even a great hangover pick-me-up.
An interesting story about eggs, so I want to know. How do you like to eat your eggs?
I think I'd rather stick to my classic French toast and waffles. I'm not the biggest egg fan.
See, for me, I like scrambled eggs and, of course, bacon. Can't have breakfast without bacon.
Yeah, definitely. And I love the over easy eggs. Those are my favorite.
See, I can do those.
Yeah, those are
Once
my
in a
favorite.
while.
You said that you like it with ketchup,
With
though.
ketchup, I can eat it with ketchup.
I don't know about that.
Good.
All right, so let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Do you want the bad news or the good news first?
Can you tell us let's start off with the bad news.
Okay, so tomorrow we're expecting some rain, partly cloudy with isolated showers, 68 degrees as our high, but into the week we are expected to warm up. So Thursday we're expecting 77 degrees, 83 on Friday, and then into Saturday and Sunday we're expecting 88 degrees and then 84. So it'll be a nice weekend.
It'll make up for the rain.
It'll be nice for this holiday weekend that's coming up.
Awesome.
Good. And don't forget, you can catch all of today's aired stories and past newscasts on our YouTube page at youtube.com/KRWG News 22.
And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat for show updates and the latest on what the News 22 team is up to. And that's all for News 22 Tuesday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
Tune in tomorrow for more news from across the Southwest. I'm Stephanie Mendez.
I'm Gabriel Chavez.
And I'm Melissa Tejas.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Bienvenidos a este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Los saluda Francisco Soto. 5 menores enfrentan cargos por un robo a una tienda. Alrededor de 9 de la noche, el viernes pasado, un empleado de NMSU recibió una notificación en su teléfono celular de que las cámaras de seguridad de la tienda habían detectado movimiento. El empleado se dirigió a la tienda donde presenció a unos jóvenes que llevaban mercancía robadas por una escalera. Todos huyeron en direcciones diferentes. El empleado atrapó a uno de ellos y retuvo hasta que llegó la policía. La mercancía robada está valorada en más de $6,000. La policía sospecha la participación de otro cómplice. Los 5 menores fueron inscritos a la sección juvenil del Centro de Detención del Condado de Doña Ana. Una mujer enfrenta cargos por maltrato infantil tras poner en peligro la vida de su hijo de 10 años. María Vielma, de 28 años, es acusada de un delito de 3er grado de abuso infantil y manejar bajo la influencia del alcohol. El pasado domingo por la noche, la policía de las Cruces respondió a una colisión de 2 vehículos cerca de la intersección de la calle Espina y la avenida Utah. De acuerdo con la policía, Vielma conducía un Ford Taurus hacia el sur de la calle Espina cuando su vehículo se cruzó con el tráfico y se estrelló contra otro vehículo. No se reportaron lesiones graves. Vielma se encuentra en el centro de detención del condado de Doña Ana sin derecho a fianza. Para Noticias 22, Francisco Soto.